Oh.
Okay, let's give people a few seconds to join before we start officially.
Perfect.
Let's give them a few seconds to join. Okay, we are live. Okay.
Maybe as students join, they can just pop in the chat and just maybe, say hi, your name, maybe, what you're studying or which university you're from.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, definitely. Hi, guys. So if you are here, you can pop us a message. Okay, we have a few people that is logged in now. So let's give it another minute and then we can officially start our live. Really exciting. Our first live with fundraising. Let me clarify. Okay. Okay, we have a few likes. Tash, so a few people have joined already.
Perfect. That's great.
That is really great. Okay, hi guys. Thank you so much for joining our first Feenix fundraising webinar. We are really excited to be sharing our learnings with you today. So I'm Elzon and I am the Student Engagement Officer. And then I also have my two colleagues with me, Nabila and Natasha, who will be introducing themselves.
Hi everyone, how are you doing today? It's quite cold over here in Cape Town, hence I'm wearing this scarf. I'm Nabila. I am the marketing coordinator at Feenix and I make up one half of the marketing team. And today I'm going to speak to you about marketing yourself, especially marketing yourself online and using social media and social media marketing to your advantage. But over to you, Tash, to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Nabila. So yes, morning everyone. Thank you again to everyone for joining us today. Really looking forward to the session. So I'm Natasha, I'm the Donor Development Officer, and I'm part of the fundraising team, and I deal with funders on a daily basis. So I'm really excited to chat to you guys today and tell you a bit more about fundraising with Alzan and with Nabila. Now I'm just going to hand back to Alzan and she's going to tell us a few more details about today's webinar.
Yes, thanks, Nabila and Natasha. So we are very excited, obviously. So for today's webinar, you guys will be able to post your questions in the comment section. We will have someone who will be answering all your questions, and we'll be having a short Q&A session at the end of the webinar, for the questions that's been posted the most. So between the three of us, we'll answer any questions you may have. And then we also have a very exciting book giveaway at the end of the webinar. So please stay tuned and hopefully, if you engage the most with us, you will be the one who will be winning the book. It's a book by Alma on, influencing. So it's a very exciting giveaway. So please stay tuned for that as well. So let's get started. So a few of you here might already know what Feenix is and what it is that we do at Feenix. But just to recap, so Feenix was launched in June 2017 as a response to the hashtag Peace Must Fall movement that spread across campuses in South Africa during 2015 and 2016. This movement highlighted the extremely high cost of tertiary education as well as the impact financial stress has on student success rates. So we created Feenix as an online fundraising platform that connects communities. It's a tool for students to formalize their fundraising efforts and a channel for funders to find students they wish to support. So as you can see, the Feenix is a young and diverse team. We are very passionate about education, and we truly do believe that access to education should not be dependent on wealth. And our founding partner, Standard Bank, shares this belief, and without their financial support and guidance, we would not be in existence today. But for the last 3 years, the Feenix community has been so amazing. We've received a lot of support, and we have been able to raise over 40 million rand, which is a lot of money. And that has impacted over 1,200 students. And that's why we want to share our learnings with you guys today. So we're very excited. So the first bit of our presentation will be about crowdfunding. We all know what crowdfunding is, or online fundraising. Although the term might be new to us, it's something we've been doing, for a number of years within our communities. It's something we grew up with. I've fundraised many times over the years in primary school and in high school. It's just about collecting small amounts of cash from a large amount of people, and then you can fund something significant, like your studies, for instance. But now I'll be playing a video by Siv on what crowdfunding is, and then Natasha will be taking over.
Hey Adam, what's this ad about anyway?
So it's an ad for nonprofit, bro. They help students raise money for their studies through crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. Okay, cool. I'm all up for crowdfunding, non-profit stuff, as long as I'm not doing one of those insurance and I become one of the do-bear guys in the infomercials. No, I can't do one of those. But okay, what are the kids doing these days? How are they, raising money and doing stuff?
Well, the kids in the 90s came up with it, so it's not that new. Crowdfunding is basically an easy way to raise lots of money by getting little bits from a lot of people. It usually happens online, so internet's really the key.
Don't keep you smart, guys. Listen here, that's like Stockfile.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the same thing. People come together, put bits and pieces of money together, collect a lot of money, then go shopping in bulk and get a lot of discount. Oh, wait a minute. Talking about getting together. My niece, the love of my life, is actually collecting money for books, for their library. Spare cash, Adam?
I guess so, sure.
Oh,
yeah, okay, I got something.
Crowdfunding. Yeah, started here.
Yeah, that's right. And imagine if your niece could ask anyone in the world for money and not just her friends and family. Online, brother.
That would save me a lot of money. But it actually reminds me, uncle. We all have that one crazy uncle. In the family WhatsApp group, which I'm trying to leave, he actually asked us all to donate money to his vacation. Uncle asked everyone for crowdfunding for tech. I just saw this on Twitter. It says, thanks to Feenix and a community of supporters, I have graduated debt-free. Crowdfunding. Like, we Africans have been doing this for years, coming together to help people together. It's Ubuntu, but you guys call it crowdfunding. Feenix does crowdfunding. Stockfile, Ubuntu, that whole thing. They do it. All you have to do is go on the internet, online, go to feenix.org, pick a student and donate money to them. Every bit counts. Just do it, because I'm game. I'm gonna pick a student. This guy looks like me. I am picking him. She looks like my niece, picking him. No, she looks like an ex. I can't pay for him. Hi, ex. Yeah. Okay, sharp. Crowdfunding. Educate yourself, man. Go away. I'm busy giving money to students.
Okay, awesome. Now that Alzan and Siv have given us a bit of a better idea of what crowdfunding actually is and made it a bit more relatable, you might be asking yourself, what do people usually crowdfund for? What do they use crowdfunding for? So it usually works best for a specific need. And as you can see, this can range from, assistance in an emergency, education and training, which I think everybody here today can relate to, being a Feenix student and trying to crowdfund for your student fees, as well as anything else on your student fee statement. Could be accommodation, textbooks, etc. And then also maybe a treatment or medical procedure. You could also use crowdfunding for equipment or training gear. And in terms of equipment, as you can see there's a laptop. something which I think, again, all of us can relate to, with COVID-19 and the lockdown. We've had to, pivot to online learning and online working. And for this, of course, you need a laptop. Then lastly, you could even crowdfund for a new vehicle. But now to bring it back to, you guys as students, what could you as a student crowdfund for? And as I mentioned, laptop, tuition fees, textbooks, could even be res accommodation. Again, with Feenix, it's anything on your student fee statement. Could even be electricity and food vouchers, especially, again, during the pandemic, this was really relevant. And of course, data. You might have a phone or a laptop to work on, but without data or Wi-Fi, you can't do anything. And I think we all know that the data struggle is very, very real. So it's definitely a need and something that people could crowdfund for. So now that you know what you could crowdfund for, Nabila is actually going to take us through the things you need in order to be ready to crowdfund.
Thanks, Tash. So this is a very important question that you need to ask yourself. It's the question of, am I ready to start crowdfunding? And if the answer is yes, then these 5 tools that you see before you are vital on your fundraising journey. So who of you are on social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram? Obviously, you guys have Facebook because you're tuning in. But if you could just pop us a comment and let us know which social media platforms you use, it would be awesome to see. So social media is a great marketing tool that you as a student can use on your fundraising journey. What's also important is your community. So the people that you know, your connections, your friends, your family members. And then what's also important is the picture. So the images that you use to portray a message, a certain message about yourself, what you do, what you're studying, etc. That's also extremely vital on your fundraising journey, as a picture tells a story about yourself and your need. So if you are a live Feenix student, your need may be for you to be paying off your fees, and then your story is also important. So the story, your story in terms of who you are, what you do, what you're studying. So we can move on to the next slide. Thanks, Alzan. So how to start marketing yourself. There's a very important reason that I included this image of myself over here. It's just to illustrate the point that 90% of the time I do not look like this version of myself. In fact, this is my profile picture on LinkedIn, which is a business platform. So an image in this case, I have used to portray a certain image of myself. I want to, for example, look professional. I want to come across as confident. So your picture represents you. And your picture also is important as it has a certain intention behind it, whether you realize that or not. So me as a business person would perhaps use an image like this on business platforms like LinkedIn, but you as a student who's fundraising for fees, perhaps you are an architect, so you could perhaps use images of yourself, at campus with your drawings, etc. So what is marketing? Marketing is the action or business of promoting and advertising, usually a service or a product. But in this case today, I'm going to teach you about marketing and promoting yourself online. So for those of you who perhaps just joined us and didn't hear me introduce myself in the beginning, I am Nabila and I'm the marketing coordinator at Feenix. Thank you to everyone who's been responding in the comments. It's awesome. I see some of you are on Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter. Some of you guys also have LinkedIn. A lot of you guys make use of Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for engaging with us, guys. We love hearing from you. So we can go on to the next slide. Thank you. So today I'm going to be teaching you about social media marketing. There's always more than one approach to crowdfunding and fundraising. What works for one crowdfunding campaign does not necessarily mean that it will work for another. So we encourage you to look at this picture before you. It's a burger, and we are going to teach you about the hamburger method. So you need to be thinking of your fundraising efforts and profile as if it were a burger. So it's made up of efforts and layers. And you need to make sure that each layer markets you well and is coherent, as this will ensure that your burger is appetizing and will have more people engaging with your fundraising profile and supporting you. So the first thing that's extremely important on your burger, always, everyone knows that a good burger needs a hot and fresh, lightly toasted, that crispy but soft bun. And the bun to your burger is your community. So the first step that's very important, and the first layer that's important on your burger, is for you to identify and tap into your community, because your community makes up the bun of your burger. So you may be asking yourself, what exactly is my community, or where can I find them? So your community is made up of social media followers. For example, a lot of you guys said you are on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. So every contact that you have on platforms like that make up a part of your community. Even groups that perhaps you've joined on Facebook, family connections, your cousins, your parents' colleagues, your classmates, and even potential businesses. So I'm just going to quickly hand over to Alzan, who will give you and share an example of a student who tapped into her community.
Thanks, Nabila. So I'll be telling you guys a bit more about Melissa. She was one of the students that was on our platform last year. So Melissa created a profile at the beginning of the year, February 2019, and then in May 2019 she got in touch with us because she wasn't sure about what fundraising is and what she needs to do. So we explained the first 100 guide to her, and then Melissa started getting busy. She was reaching out to our community, and she felt as if though she didn't really have a community that would be able to help her fundraise for her outstanding university fees. So what she then did was she approached different businesses. Because she was actually very serious about reaching a fundraising goal, because her ultimate goal was to graduate debt-free. And through Melissa constantly sharing and promoting her profile and herself on social media, she was able to get fully funded by the end of the year and graduate debt-free. But it was not easy. She had to push hard. She had to identify her community, and she was constantly sharing her profile, sharing her story. She made videos. She was posting pictures, writing motivation as to why people should donate towards her outstanding university fees and help her graduate debt-free. So like Melissa did, you guys can also do, keep pushing, keep trying, and constantly try and look for a new community that would be able to help you fundraise for your outstanding university fees.
Thanks, Alzan. Thanks, Alzan. Yeah, so Melissa is just a great, I see someone commented, an inspirational story indeed, because she thought outside of the box. She really sat down and thought, how can I tap into my community? What other ways and methods can I use to try and get donations from people in my community? And she literally went around to businesses and asked them to donate to her. So she took the initiative. I also saw a lot of you guys commented that you are on WhatsApp. So WhatsApp's another great social media platform that you can use to talk to your community. You could forward your live profile to all your contacts in your WhatsApp chats, as well as a lot of you guys may be in a family group chat or a friend group chat. You could post your live profile link in there as well and ask people to make donations towards you. So back to the burger. What else is really important on your burger? So a good burger needs some salad, to just make you feel like it's healthy, to balance that beefy patty. So the salad on your burger, the freshly picked, just washed lettuce, that crispy, that crunchy taste that when you bite into it, you just like taste that freshness. And the salad or lettuce on your burger is you looking picture perfect. So looking picture perfect is extremely important. What you need to do is screen your social media. So screening your social media is twofold. It means looking at the images that you've perhaps posted on your social media in the past. Are they appropriate? Would you want your community to see this when you share your profile online and ask people to make donations towards you? And then the other part is screening your social media for perhaps possible meltdowns that you've had in the past on social media. Did you maybe go on a Twitter rant because you're upset with a company or a person? And you need to really look at your social media objectively and think about a possible donor seeing what you've posted online and maybe them not wanting to donate because of a certain post that you've put online. So just screen your social media objectively in terms of the content that you've put out there and also in terms of the images that you've posted, because sometimes if perhaps a possible donor sees something that doesn't sit right with them online, it could prevent them from wanting to make a donation towards you. So our other tips to you would be to include clear images of yourself with good lighting and no filters. And if possible, since you are a Feenix Live student, relating the images that you use and put online when asking for donations to your field of study. So for example, if you are a medical student, post a picture of you in your scrubs or of you doing, going into the hospital or dealing with patients if you've already done that, or maybe just even of you on campus in the library studying. That just, adds this whole narrative to your story and puts a clear picture in people's minds because they can see exactly, what you're studying and that you are a dedicated student. And this also allows you to just show off a little personality as well. So pictures are important for you to market yourself effectively, and it's an essential step towards securing your fundraising goal. So the burger. What's most important on a burger is the patty. Some of you may like a patty that's well done. Others may like a medium rare patty. It's up to you. But everyone likes a juicy patty. The sort of patty that when you bite into it, that, it just drips down your hands and you get like invested. You have this like really hands-on experience with this authentic 100% A-grade beef patty. And the beef patty on your burger is your story. So sharing your story with your community. Your story needs to make people empathize with your past, but you also want to inspire people to invest in your future. So you need to make sure that your story is clearly laid out. So in your story, you can talk about what you're studying and why you're studying what you're studying. And you want to be able to sell the experience of being a student and the struggles that you go through to people. And you want to leave people with a good feeling long after they've read your story. What's also important when you share your story is asking. So always asking people to make a donation towards your Feenix profile and ending with a call to action such as please donate here, and then sharing the link as well. So every social media post needs to feature an ask or a call to action. We always advise you to be authentic and relatable and talk about your challenges as a student. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and show emotion when sharing your dreams of debt-free graduation, for instance, or your aspirations, and let people know how they can make a donation. What's also very important is I know some of you might be doing this already, but check your story for spelling or grammar mistakes. Sometimes we just quickly put a post together and, you know, you might just be sharing your profile on Twitter, for instance, and you don't check your spelling and grammar, but that can actually make a huge difference. So next on the burger is the onions. So the onions, not everyone likes onions. Onions can be slightly annoying because they can make your breath smell, but they are important to your burger because they add flavor. So the onions, in our opinion, is for you to tap into trends and hashtags. And why this can be annoying is because you want to be that annoying person on social media that whenever something is trending, you are adding your voice to the conversation. So you need to be continue to try and stay relevant by tapping into social media trends. Your voice adds the flavor to the current topics of discussion that's trending on social media. So just an example of tapping into trends, there was a young lady on social media by the name of Kia Betswe, and she last year had a tweet of hers go viral, and the tweet was just 4 letters, and it was Ujewa Kieng, which is a Sotho phrase which in direct translation means what's eating you up. And ever since she tweeted that, she basically went viral. She became an influencer, and the tweet of hers from last year to this day is still getting a lot of engagement, and people who respond to her tweet also get engagement and retweets. So we've seen a lot of students respond to the tweet to this day and get, for instance, they perhaps have said, you know, I am in need of assistance for paying off my school, tuition fees, etc. And people have donated to them as a result of them tapping into this trend of responding to this tweet. And we've seen them get like hundreds of retweets and comments just by tapping into this trend. So another thing that you can do if you are on Twitter, as some of you have said, for example, if you see that a hashtag is trending and it might relate to education, for instance, and you are raising fees for your education, use that hashtag in your tweet, because that will mean that more people might see your tweet and your engagement would go up and more people might be interested in donating towards you. So because we are talking about trends and hashtags, we just want to let you guys know that later today we will be having a Facebook Live with our Feenix champion, Alma Smith. Alzan, if you could just, yeah, there we go. So our Facebook Live will be taking place at 3 o'clock today. Alma Smith is a Feenix champion, and she's just come out with a book called Become an Influencer. So we will be talking to her today about understanding influence and about her book and how you could think like an influencer and use the skills and knowledge that she has to tap into your audience and community online. And we will also be giving away a signed copy of Alma's book to whichever student engages with us the most in the comments and responds to our questions, etc. So we'll be announcing the winner of the giveaway at the end of the session. So please, guys, keep up the responses and comments. We love hearing from you, and if we love your engagement, you also will stand a chance to win a signed copy of Alma's book, where you can learn about how you can think like an influencer and use social media marketing to your advantage. But just quickly back to the burger. The last thing on your burger that is extremely important and that we call the secret sauce is saying thank you. So you need to remember to say thank you. The secret sauce is the secret to maintaining a lasting relationship with your community. So I'll just quickly hand it over to Tash to give an example of students who have thanked their funders and how it's worked out for them for the best.
Thanks, Nabila. Yeah, so in terms of the thank you, Nabila said it perfectly when she said it's that secret sauce. It's really the magic ingredient, pulls everything together. And, you know, we've seen this again and again. We've seen proof that it works. When students actually thank their funders after making a donation, you see those funders coming back and actually making a second donation, which is really amazing. because you can literally double your donation just by saying thank you. And, you can say thank you on your various social media platforms. And then, of course, as Feenix students, we ask you for your thank you letters, and then we send it off via email to your funders. And again, we've seen that these funders respond right away, and they really appreciate the thank you and take it to heart. And, when they get a salary in the new month, they feel compelled to make that second donation. And back to you, Nabs.
Thanks, Tash. So yes, the secret sauce is saying thank you, and thank you is important because you'll be keeping your community updated, and by publicly thanking your community of supporters and funders, they'll automatically just take more of an interest in you. And by saying thank you, you can keep your community up to date during your fundraising efforts, as a grateful heart will encourage your community to continue to give to you year after year. So now that you know what a recipe for a good social media appeal is and the layers that you need on your burger, here's a practical example of a student who used the power of marketing to her advantage. So over here we have the Feenix student Asanda. Asanda is a postgraduate student, and she's studying a diploma in integrated water resource management at the University of the Western Cape. This is just screenshots from Asanda's Twitter profile. As you can see with the image on the right, Asanda only joined Twitter in January 2019. So she's still relatively new to the platform. And this just goes to show that I know some of you may not be on platforms like Twitter or Instagram, for example, but it's not too late to get started on a profile and account that you can use to just promote yourself on social media. And then more about Asanda. Asanda has made posting about her fundraising profile on Feenix a part of her morning routine. So every morning when Asanda wakes up, she shares her profile on Twitter, as you can see with the screenshot on the left, and she asks her community to make a donation towards her on the Feenix platform. So she's made it a part of her morning routine. Some of you may wake up in the morning and say, oh, I need a cup of coffee, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. But with Asanda, the first thing that she does when she wakes up is post on Twitter her Feenix profile. So Asanda ensured that her social media profiles look professional with great images. As you can see, she looks very professional in her black t-shirt and her black blazer. And the text and content that she posts on Twitter represents her positive attitude and a passion for her studies. As you can see with the images as well, she has a big, beautiful, bright smile on her face. So, she's portraying a certain image of herself as confident and professional. And that's awesome. So she posts daily to Twitter, and she asks her friends and family to share her profile and to donate to her on Feenix. So her posts reflect her personality and that she is passionate, resilient, and confident. So now that you've got an example of a student who's used the power of marketing, I'm just going to hand it over to Tash to tell you a bit more about fundraising best practice.
Thanks, Nabila. So in terms of fundraising best practices, there's two best methods. And as Nabila's explained, there's self-marketing. So as Asanda did, it's putting the word out there yourself. It's asking for donations, asking for people to share your by yourself, whether it's on social media, whether it's in person at a family braai or at a church event, or whether it's on WhatsApp or even email. So self-marketing is really when you take the initiative to ask for donations yourself. And then the second one is using champions. So this is when somebody asks for donations on your behalf. And we've really seen that champions work extremely well. When somebody asks on your behalf, it just seems to resonate with people. So champions could be, it could be a family member. It could be somebody who may not even know you, but saw your Feenix profile. And that's why your Feenix profile is so important. Maybe they saw your Feenix profile. They don't know you personally, but they resonate with your story and believe in access to education. and then they champion on your behalf. So yeah, and I mean, it's great to know that you already have one champion, and that champion is Feenix. If you have any questions, the student engagement team is there for you. If you need any resources, tools, you can talk to us. And also, coming from the fundraising department, we fundraise on your behalf from individuals and businesses. So we have your back, and we're also asking on your behalf. So yeah, between these two fundraising best practices, you can choose whichever one's best for you. However, of course, a combination of both would probably yield the best results. So why not just go for it and try both and see what happens? All right, so now we're going to give you a few examples of the different kinds of champions that there are. And I'm going to hand back to Alzan. She's going to tell us a bit about Lindiwe, who used her mother as a family champion and was very successful.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Tash. So Lindiwe is an amazing student from BITS. And like many of you, Lindiwe was not able to qualify for NSFAS, and she struggled to get a bursary, and they simply could not afford the high tertiary cost, which is why she turned to crowdfunding. So Lindiwe created her profile on Feenix and then immediately got her mother involved. So her mother was her champion. So it's very important to inform your support structure that you are on Feenix and you are fundraising for your outstanding university fees, because your support structure might have access to networks and communities that you don't necessarily have access to, which is what happened in Lindiwe's case. So Lindiwe approached the residents of Kirstenbosch, which is where her mother works, and asked them to donate towards her outstanding university fees. And Lindiwe was very surprised, because she also thought that, no, why would people support me? But she asked. If you don't ask, then no one is going to know that you are looking to fundraise for your outstanding university fees. And so Lindiwe asked people to make donations, and within 2 months, she and her mother was able to raise 19,000 Rand, which is obviously amazing. And Lindiwe was blown away, because she had this idea that no, people would not support me if I asked. But how would you know if you don't ask? So Lindiwe and her mother was amazing Feenix champions. Or Lindiwe's mother was an amazing Feenix champion for Lindiwe. And the key is to always get someone else to fundraise for you. So get your mother, your father, your uncle, your brother involved in your fundraising journey, and let them know that you are on Feenix, you are fundraising for your outstanding university fees. If you have a mother or a father or a brother or sister or whoever it may be that's working already, especially ask them to share your profile with their networks, with the people at work, especially around month end when people get paid, and ask for those 100 Rand donations, because ultimately it makes a huge difference. So back over to you, Tash.
Thanks, Alzan. So the next example is a birthday champion. Something else that you can tap into and utilize is your birthday as a student, and champions can also do that. So firstly, for a champion to do that, they can, say, okay, guys, it's my birthday this week, and I really want to celebrate by having a long-lasting impact. So please donate as little as 100 Rand as a gift to these students and help them, achieve their dreams and complete their educational journey. So Feenix champions can do that. It might be somebody that you don't even know, somebody, again, that sees your profile. An example here is Sophia, who's actually based in the United States, but she has a history in South Africa. She spent time here, fell in love with the country, and is extremely passionate about education. So, she decided to do a Feenix COVID campaign for her birthday. And this was actually for the Cap the Gap campaign She asked friends and family, please, for my birthday, donate as little as 100 Rand. And let's help students learn safely from home by giving them laptops, food, and data vouchers. So this is just an example of a champion that can actually utilize their birthday in order to raise funds. So this is Sophia, so nobody knows Sophia personally, but you could also, ask your mother to, for her birthday, or a friend, or a colleague, and ask them, listen, for your birthday, would you like to join me? And actually use your birthday in order to raise money for education. And then something else which we've seen works really, really well is when you yourself, as a Feenix student, actually uses your birthday to raise funds. So, again, you put out the message there and say, hey guys, I am fundraising for my education. It's my birthday this week, donate as little as 100 Rand. Make my birthday the best birthday yet. And it works really, really well. We see students putting that message out there and getting 5 donations within 3 days of their birthday. So that's a really, really nice event to use in order to fundraise for yourself, or for a champion to fundraise on your behalf. So that's another example. And then the other example is crowdfunding through your work network, which I also want to tell you guys a little bit about. Of course, you're all students, but some of you might be working part-time, or you might be volunteering somewhere and you have a work network. And an example of this is Poppy. She fundraised on BackaBuddy, which is another crowdfunding site. And she was extremely successful. As you can see there, she reached her target and even went over her target. So Poppy's story is that she makes Jurista Cook. That's her business, and she does this in Montague. And she works with the family that hosts cycling events. And she always makes those Jurista Cooks at these cycling events. And the one event was specifically for a group of cyclists from Italy. And, they cycled hard, exercised hard, and eventually made it to the finish line. And there was Poppy and her amazing Jurista Cook. And they fell in love with her personality, her energy, and of course, her amazing talent at baking. And then they said, you know what, Poppy, we actually want you to come to Italy. They invited Poppy to Italy in order to come bake for them and to attend this event. But the only problem was Poppy didn't have the resources that she needed in order to get herself to Italy. But of course, it was, an opportunity of a lifetime. So what happened is that Poppy tapped into her work network, and the family that she works with that hosts these cycling events actually began championing on her behalf, set up this campaign, and then tapped into their networks. And, they began sharing it far and wide. It even made it onto, News 24 and these various news sites. And they just said, we need to get Poppy to Italy. It's unacceptable that, she has this opportunity of a lifetime, but just because she doesn't have the resources, she can't go. And yeah, it was amazing. Just by tapping into these work networks, as you can see, they fundraise and reach the goal. And yeah, Poppy ended up going to Italy. The funds covered her flights, her accommodation, everything. And then that little excess that she did have went back into her business. And it was really amazing because even when she was in Italy, she continued to update her donors and her funders, with social media posts, fun photos of her experience in Italy. And she even sent postcards to her funders back in South Africa or wherever they were in the world to say thank you. So that's very important. She didn't forget her funders. And again, that secret sauce, she completed the burger and made sure to update her funders and to say thank you. So that's a really nice example of crowdfunding through your work network. And then the last example of champions is an influencer. And Nabila, as our social media and marketing expert, is going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Tash. So just a reminder, everyone, we will be having a Facebook Live with Feenix champion Alma Smith later today at 3 o'clock. We will be talking to Alma about her new book, Become an Influencer. and we'll get insights from Alma into building an audience and engaging with your community online, as well as avoiding social media meltdowns and maintaining your reputation. So our live with Alma later today is going to be really useful if you are seriously interested in social media marketing and learning tips and tricks from Alma. So over here is just the screenshot of the post that Alma sent out for her birthday. As you guys can see, Alma has that blue tick next to her name, so she's really a big deal. And essentially, Alma is a presenter and radio host. She is also on the Jacaranda Radio Breakfast Show. And on her birthday, she created a campaign on Feenix, and she asked the community to donate towards Feenix students as like a present for her birthday. And she managed to raise about 15,000 Rand, which is quite a bit of money. And that all went towards students on the platform. And over here, that's the copy that she posted and sent out to a community, saying that she's celebrating her birthday and she would like for people to donate towards Feenix for her birthday. So Alma was a great influencer for us to partner with, as she has a really big audience. And because she posted about Feenix and shared her birthday campaign with her audience, you know, a lot of people who perhaps weren't familiar with us before, started to learn more about us and actually made donations towards students on the platform. And she was able to help spread awareness and cast a story in a positive light in terms of using her birthday as a way for her to bring in donations for Feenix students. And partnering with an influencer is great because you can generate a high level of interest and engagement from their followers. But it's also important to find the right person to represent your brand. Alma was great to partner with because she cares about education and access to education as much as we do. So you could also use influencers to champion you. For example, you could reach out to influencers who, you know, share your passion. Perhaps you're studying something specific like drama, and one of your favorite influencers is an actor, a local actor perhaps. You could reach out to them via social media, tag them in your posts asking for donations. Some influencers on Instagram even put their email addresses on their Instagram profiles. So take the initiative, find the email address, you know, compose an email to them, share your story with them, share the link to your Feenix profile, and who knows, one of them might make a donation, or if not, perhaps share your story with their community so that your story can reach a wider audience. And then now that you know about champion influencing, a champion influencer such as Alma Smith, I'm just going to hand it back to Tashu, who will speak to you guys more about how you can find a champion.
Thanks, Nabila. So as Nabila said, you know, with all these examples, it's great to know, but, you know, how do you as an individual find your actual champions? And it's all in one word. Community. It's all about your community. And, you know, you might be wondering, but who is my community? What is my community? And as you can see, we've listed the examples here and we've touched on these throughout the webinar. Again, it can be online, you know, it could be your Facebook friends, it could be your Instagram followers on Twitter, your LinkedIn followers. Or it could be, again, work, part-time work, you know, your work colleagues, or if you volunteer somewhere, all those people that you work with. Or it could be, you know, at school, so at university. We've actually seen a student donate to another student, you know, that had the financial means to donate to one of her friends who she knew was on the Feenix platform. And that's amazing because that just shows the power of community. And by asking, you know, it could be the person sitting next to you in class that could give you your first 100 Rand donation. And then again, it can be family, such as Lindiwe's example. It could also be your church community or your community at mosque. You could ask your community at church to put the word out there or include you in the monthly newsletter, and actually ask for churchgoers to donate. And again, if everybody sitting there gives just 100 Rand, the impact could be really, really, really amazing. So yeah, now that we've spoken about champions, Nabila's just going to go back to the power of social media and of self-marketing, and she's going to give us a good example of one of our students who used self-marketing to fundraise.
So the best way for you to tap into your network is to market yourself well. And over here, we have an example of a Feenix student who markets himself well. His name is Johannes. This is a screenshot of his Feenix profile. So Johannes is studying mechanical engineering at the University of Johannesburg. And on his profile, he wrote an in-depth, authentic, raw, very personal story that he shared. And he used a professional-looking picture of himself. As you can see on his profile, he also included a video that ends with a call to action, and he asks his community after he shares his story on his video to donate towards him. And he opens up about his struggles as a student, and this really resonated with the Feenix staff as some of us, championed him, and we shared his story, and the video that he includes as well really touched us. And it just shows that he went the extra mile when creating his profile by including this clear, sweet and short video of himself with the call to action appealing to his community. And video is just a great way for you to capture a wide audience. It doesn't have to be a professional looking video. You can just take the video on your camera, just make sure that there's good lighting and that the background noise isn't too loud, and tell people a bit about yourself. Video is also a great tool to use as it can be shared easily. So once you create the video, you can share it on social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, but you can also share it on platforms such as WhatsApp. And it's so easy to just send that video of yourself into groups or forward it along to your WhatsApp contacts. And it's easy for them as well to pass it to their friends and family members so that your story is shared with as many people as possible. So what's also great about a video is that it builds trust with your audience and your community. So now that you know a bit more about how you can market yourself well, I'm just going to hand it back over to Tash, who's going to talk to you a bit more about how you can actually ask for donations, as asking can oftentimes be the hardest part.
Thanks, Nabila. So what do you actually put in that ask? We keep telling you to ask, we keep saying the ask, keep asking, but what do you actually write down, And through our experience at Feenix, we've decided on 5 key things that you need to include in your ask, and we've called it the art of asking. And something very important to remember is that, fundraising is one goal. And I realized that, started working for Feenix, a year and 6 months ago. It was my first job, and was very overwhelmed. And I remember coming in and, thinking that I was going to nail on the head the first time. And it took me quite some time. It took me 8 months to really make individuals donate to Feenix students, to ask in the right way and to approach them in the right way. So, I completely understand, and I'm on the same page with everyone here on the webinar today, that it's not easy and it doesn't always land how you want it to the first time. But when it comes to the art of asking, it's all about following these steps, but also not giving up and being resilient and just continuing to put your ask out there. And, might not be the 3rd time that you ask that you actually get a donation, but it might be the 6th, So yeah. All right, now I'm going to take you through these 5 steps. The first one is an authentic and honest story. So Nabila's touched on this quite a bit. And, you know, you can include your past, so kind of where you come from, how you grew up, as well as your present, you know, you're studying. Maybe talk about your challenges as a student, but also, you know, what you aspire to be, and what your future aspirations are. And it's very important to just be yourself in the story. And if you can, you know, show emotion. There's so many things going on social media, lots of clutter. So when you really open up and you show that emotion, if it's something you're comfortable with, people really resonate to that, and then respond to your story. And then the second thing is something, again, which we've mentioned quite a bit during this webinar, is that donations start at 100 Rand. So this is for you to remember that, you know, don't be overwhelmed. You know, even a donation only starts at 100 Rand, and even though you might have, you know, 50,000 Rand student debt, even 100 Rand makes a difference and it counts. So tell your funders that as well. You need to remember that, and you also need to tell your funders, you know, don't think you need to donate 1,000 Rand just because I have 50,000 Rand debt, but just that first 100 can make a huge, huge difference. And even if you end up fundraising 500 Rand, you know, every bit helps, and anything is better than nothing, you know. So pat yourself on the back when you get that first donation, and remind funders that donations start at 100 Rand, and every contribution counts. And, you know, you can even use things like, you know, if 10 of my friends donate 100 Rand, then I've fundraised 1,000 Rand, which is huge. And then thirdly, you know, you can put your story out there. You can put the link, well, you need to put the link to your profile, but then of course also give clear instructions to funders, you know, on how to actually make a donation. So make sure that you include the right links, and then you can even tell them which payment options there are. So, you know, credit card, EFT, Zapper, SnapScan, and even UCount rewards, so that they know how to actually make that donation. And of course, if they have any problems donating, you can make sure to get in contact with us, and either give me their contact details or give my contact details to them, so that, you know, if there's any problems on the system, we can sort it out quickly and make the donation process as quick and as easy as possible for your funders. Then, fourthly, again, addressing potential funders directly. We've seen that this works so well, by just putting somebody's name in a WhatsApp message. Instead of saying, hey, everybody, say, hey, Elzan, you know, hi, Nabila. It really forces people to focus and to concentrate on the message, and it makes them compelled to listen and to pay attention, and then either reshare or actually donate that 100 Rand. So very important. And again, on social media, you can actually tag people, you know, tag your friends, tag your family, send. I saw in the comments, you know, somebody said that they were actually sending their ask through Messenger, and that is perfect, because that really, it's a one-on-one approach, and it works really, really well. And then something else which I do really want to highlight is that, you know, we in the month of October, and a lot of you guys, I'm sure, are fundraising just to cover your fees for this year. And of course, Feenix disperses in November, so we pay over the funds to universities in November, and lots of people's graduations are coming up. The end of the academic year is coming up. So also tap into that, you know, tap into that momentum, and tell your friends and family, work colleagues, etc., that, you know, I have a month to go, you know, there's no more time to waste. So create that sense of urgency as well, you know, tell people that, listen, I need to raise this money before the end of November in order to complete my academic year successfully. So very important as well to tap into that sense of urgency. And then lastly, do not be overwhelmed. Just remember that every contribution counts. You know, if you've raised 100 Rand, be proud of yourself. Fundraising is a long-term game. It's not easy, and it does take time. So just, keep going and don't give up. All right, and then I'm just going to give an example of Lungi, who's one of our students, just an example of his ask, which he put out on Twitter. Very short, short but sweet, short but powerful, includes all the relevant links, hashtags, some relevant hashtags, reminds funders that a donation can start at 100 Rand, and just very authentic and real. And then also an example of his thank you on social media. He of course puts the ask out there, but that secret sauce to bring that burger together, he continues to thank funders on the social media platforms that he's using, and also updating them, saying, okay, awesome, I'm halfway, or I've raised my first 100. Thank you guys, this means so much. Really, really important to thank your funders. And as I mentioned before, it has the power to actually compel people to donate a second time once they get paid on payday. All right, and then here's just an example of a Feenix champion that cycled so he used the 94.7 to actually cycle for students and raise money, which is really amazing initiative to use an event like that. However, he did everything right when he was fundraising on students' behalf. His picture was great, his story was great, he put the word out there, but it just didn't work. And that's the thing with fundraising. It's important to realize that, sometimes it doesn't work out quite how you want. But we do want to tell you that it's all about that resilience and just keeping on going. And again, it might not be the second time you ask, but it might be the fifth time that you ask. And even that first 100 is a major deal. And don't be overwhelmed by your goal. We're also here to fundraise on your behalf, and every bit helps. Just start from square one and take it from there. And now Alzan's going to tell us a bit about one of our students in Ntombi who really, showed us what resilience was. And she had an amazing quote as well that she said, and she successfully has fundraised on the Feenix platform for a few consecutive years. So Alzan, back to you.
Thanks, Tash. So Ntombi came onto our platform in 2017 until 2019, and she was able to successfully fundraise over 90,000 Rand, and that is through various donations that was made by corporates as well as by individual funders. So Ntombi was an amazing Feenix champion as well as a Feenix student ambassador, and she always went the extra mile with whatever was required of her. And Ntombi made it clear from the get-go that, she is not an agent, but she's determined and she's hardworking and she is extremely resilient. This year, Ntombi was able to graduate with her master's in chemical engineering, and she's also started a non-profit organization for high school learners. So Ntombi is really showing that, people gave to her and now she's giving back to others. And one of the quotes that really resonated with our team that Ntombi said was, to have people saying that they back me and they are with me in every step of the way, now that for me is gold. They did not only prove that dreams do come true, but also prove that one no does not necessarily mean that it is the end, but that one no opens up a possibility of many yeses. And that's exactly the type of resilience that we love seeing in students. Just because you've shared your profile 5 times and no one has made a donation, that does not mean that you give up or you stop sharing, because actually this is not working. You need to continue, push and try, because like Natasha said, fundraising is a long-term game. It's not always easy, but continue sharing and promoting your profile and your story with your community. and just don't give up on yourself. Keep sharing your profile, log into your profile, share it, do like Asanda did. Asanda opened up a whole Twitter page just so she would be able to better promote herself. Tap into different communities. If you feel like you don't have a community that would be able to help you fundraise, get a champion. And you can also approach different businesses, and also most importantly, make sure that your Feenix profile is up to standard. Remember the burger method Nabila spoke about, and then just continue trying and pushing until you've reached your goal. And you will most certainly will, if you keep trying and you keep pushing, you would be able to make it work. So now we'll be heading into our Q&A session. So there was a few questions posted throughout the session in the comment section, and now you guys are also more than welcome to post your questions, and we'll answer a few of those questions. And of course, we have the book giveaway coming up very soon for the students that engage the most with us throughout the webinar. So one of the first questions we got was, or a few questions that we actually got from you guys now, was if you are able to make edits on your profile once your profile has been made live. So if you'd like to edit your profile picture or your Feenix story, or you want to add a video now, what you can do is you can email us at support@feenix.org, and we'll make any changes you would like to be made to your profile. But you just need to email us, and then we can update your story. You just need to, send it to us in a Word document, and then we can update the copy. If you would like to change your picture, remember it needs to be a good picture, great lighting, like Nabila said, clear background, no filters, and then we can edit. Your profile picture. And then also, if you like to add a video now, because you were inspired by Johannes' story, you can also do that. You can just get in touch with our team, and then we'll help you to get a video on your profile as well. And then, like I said, you guys are more than welcome to post any more questions that you have. And one other question that we also got was, students asked if you would be able to see who funded you. So unfortunately not. We don't necessarily reveal who donated to your profile. That's why we request a thank you note from you, and then we send it off to the funder, just to protect both you and the funder. But you're more than welcome to send any thank you or anything you would like to say to your funder through us, and we'll send it to your funder for you or on your behalf. Okay, so one of the first questions: I am fully funded for this year. I would like to know if it's possible or how long. Okay, so that is our hashtag Cap the Gap campaign. Like we just answered the question, our Cap the Gap campaign has unfortunately come to an end. So we're no longer, accepting any referrals from universities because the campaign has come to an end. And then the next question is, what happens if I fail to raise funds this year? Will I continue with the same amount next year, or will it be combined with next year's fees? So the great thing with your Feenix profile is that you can raise funds for whatever amount reflects on your fee statement. So whether it includes historical debt or current debt, whether that includes, your tuition fees, your residence fees, your some universities add laundry, they add books, they add printing, they add food vouchers. Whatever amount reflects on your fee statement, that becomes your fundraising goal on our platform. And then you can continue sharing and promoting your profile so that you are able to, raise funds for that outstanding amount. And then the next question will be for Nabila.
Thanks, Julian. So you asked, if I share my story on my social media platform, how do I tag Feenix, and should I use the hashtag or @? So the first step would be, please do follow us on all our social media platforms. I think there is the link to our handles in this presentation as well. So follow us on social media, and you can tag us, for instance, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are on all those platforms, including LinkedIn as well. And then you can also use the Feenix hashtag. And that way you'll pop up in our notifications and mentions, and we'll see you. And sometimes we do also share and retweet or repost students who've tagged us in their posts and have asked for donations as well. And then there was, sorry, Elzan, there was just another question by Deneo. Deneo asked, so I do share posts on social networks and people will be giving me less engagements or no interest. So what I do is sending them an inbox individually, ask for their donation and share my profile with them. Am I doing the right thing by inboxing my friends on my social media networks? Yes, Deneo, amazing job. That's awesome of you to be doing that, because it shows that you've taken initiative. But I just also want to reiterate and just give you another tip. To add on to the strategy that you're already using, make sure that your requests from your friends and family members when you do message them privately are personal. So maybe there's a personal fact that you know about a friend of yours, and you can ask, oh, how's your dog doing? And, you know, start up a conversation that way and say, oh, you know, I'm actually on Feenix right now trying to raise money towards my fees. I saw that, you know, you perhaps graduated recently and are working. You know what it's like to be a student. Could you perhaps donate towards me? And always, you know, use their name, make it personal. If there's personal facts that you know about them, try and include that in the conversation, because it shows you care about them, and it also just reinforces the relationship that you have with them and the connection that you have with them. So that's a really great approach that you are using.
Thanks,
today.
Nabila, for that. So we've had a few questions about Cap the Gap. So like Corajin said, that if you are looking to fundraise for other resources such as food vouchers, laptops, data vouchers, you can always try Back a Buddy. But unfortunately, our hashtag Cap the Gap campaign has come to an end because of limited resources. But there are other fundraising platforms that you could try to fundraise for those resources. And then also, we spoke about the First 100 guide, as well as the my hashtag Grad Goal campaign student guide. So if you guys would like to get access to it, you could always just send us an email. We've sent it to you guys a few times in email to the live students. But go through those guidelines, the fundraising guidelines that we've created. It may seem like a lot, because we know it's a lot of stuff to go through and to read, but it's really important for you to go through it and read what other examples of what other students did. You know, it's tips from our marketing department, from our fundraising department, and as well as from our student engagement team as well. So if you're still unsure or you don't know how to go about fundraising, go through those guides. It will really help you. Everything we did today was based on the First 100 guide and the my hashtag my grad goal campaign student guide. So go through it. It may seem like a lot, but once you've read through it and you understand it with today's session, it'll make so much more sense, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable to raise funds for your outstanding university fees using your Feenix profile. And of course, your Feenix profile can also be shared, you know, via WhatsApp. It can be shared via Facebook, Twitter, and email. The only thing you need to do is you just need to log into your profile and then click on the icons, and then you can share it whether you want to do the private or the public approach. So the private approach would be email and WhatsApp, whereas the public approach would be Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you know, whichever one you feel comfortable with. But please go through our fundraising guides. And if you, of course, have any other questions, you can always just let our team know. You can contact us on support@feenix.org, and we will gladly get back to you and answer any questions you may have. We are at the end of the year, basically. So we are officially in October. And our next payout will be in November. So you guys still have like a month and a half to keep pushing and trying and getting your community to make those donations so that you are able to get a payout when we have our next disbursement. So keep trying and pushing. And of course, like I said, if you have any other questions, you can always just let us know. But now I'm handing over to Nabila for our exciting book giveaway.
Thanks, Alzon. So I just see that there were a couple of questions relating to fundraising. If Tash just wants to answer those first before I announce the giveaway winner. Someone asked, is it appropriate to share your story with businesses? And another person asked if Feenix approaches certain companies on one's behalf. So Prince asked a question that Natasha could answer.
Sure. Okay, I can't. Oh, there's the question. So yes, Prince, Feenix does approach both individuals and corporates on your behalf. We're very much active. There's a team of 3 of us who do this full time. But of course, there's sometimes requirements that go with corporate funding. So, it might be accounting business only funds accounting students, for example. So, this funding is not guaranteed. That's the only thing. But we definitely do fundraise and approach companies on your behalf. And then the other question, which one was that, Nabila? Sorry.
I think it's someone asked, I need to start the 100 Rand fundraising. How do I go about it? So I think that ties into the art of asking.
Yes. And I'll touch on the first 100 guide, which is definitely a great resource. But I think going about your first 100 tied into the art of asking. It's that first 100, it's just about asking, actually putting the word out there. But I think to get that first initial 100 Rand, I would recommend being very targeted and specific with who you ask. So for example, I fundraised on behalf of students when we did the Sanlam Marathon. So what I did was I, thought of 5 people that I knew had financial capacity to maybe donate 100 Rand or more, and people that were close to me that I knew wouldn't ignore my message. And I then asked them, and some of them responded, some of them didn't. And don't be afraid to follow up. If somebody doesn't respond, that's also something that I've learned, in terms of fundraising. Message them 6 days later, say, hey, did you see my message? Are you willing to donate that 100 Rand? So yeah, I think that's how you go about your first 100, just putting the ask out there on the various social media platforms, be very targeted about it, and definitely follow up with people. Ask them, did they manage to make that 100 Rand? Did they have any problems? Did they see your message, etc.? So yeah.
There's one question for you. I'll just pop it up.
Cool. Thanks, Sharon. So yes, it definitely is appropriate. If you would like more guidelines in terms of approaching businesses, you can email support@Feenix. And we can, give you additional guidance. But it most definitely is appropriate to find business emails and just tell them about your story, say that you're on the Feenix profile, and if they could make a donation. And it's always nice to also look for businesses that are in your field. So, for example, if you are studying engineering, maybe approaching a mining company and so forth. But of course, if you want further details, if you don't want to say the wrong thing, please definitely email support@feenix.org, and we can get you in contact with our corporate fundraiser who can give you more specific details.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think we can do one more question, and then Nabila will do the wrap up for us. So Vanessa had a question. Are you aware of GoFundMe? So with Feenix, if you qualify to be on our platform, so who qualifies to be on our platform. So it's basically South African university students with a South African ID, permanent residency, asylum or refugee seeking status, with a family household income of below 600,000 rand for the year, and who are currently studying at a public university, or they studied at a public university previously, but now they still have historical debt. Then you qualify to be on our platform. And then you can fundraise for whichever amount reflects on your fee statement. So whether that includes, your tuition fees, your residential fees, your books, your laptop, your printing, whatever amount reflects on your fee statement, whether it's current or historical debt as well, you can always fundraise for that using your Feenix profile if you qualify to be on our platform. So that is the end of our Q&A session. If you guys have any other more questions, you are more than welcome to send us an email on support@feenix.org, and we'll gladly get back to you. Okay, Nabs, over to you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's been engaging with us in the comments and who have asked us questions. We really appreciate it, and we really value your input and engagement. So now to announce the winner of our champion Alma Smith's book, Becoming an Influencer. Can we get a drum roll? Today's winner of the signed copy of Alma Smith's book is Hiromi. Well done, congratulations, and thank you so much for all your comments and feedback. We really appreciate it. If you could please just pop us a DM on Facebook with your full name, surname, email address, and contact number, so that we can get in contact with you and have that signed copy sent to you as soon as possible. So thank you, everyone. And also, please just remember that later today at 3 o'clock, we will be having another Facebook Live with Alma Smith. And Alma will be talking about her book, Become an Influencer. And she will also be sharing insight into how you can build an audience online, connect with your community, and create campaigns, as well as use social media marketing to your advantage. So if you would like to learn more about that, please join us later at 3 o'clock for our Facebook Live with Feenix champion Alma Smith.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
All the best for fundraising. Bye.